Sprinkle some pixel dust, everyone. We're going in. Welcome to Splitting Wires. I'm your host, Austin, and this here's is your other one. This one's James.
I'm his brother James. What's going on, guys?
The other one. Anyways, we are here to talk about one thing and one thing only. Red Dead Redemption, James.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is on the horizon here, folks. October 26th is the release date. October 25th for most of those people that got it on early download, and maybe for the reviewers who are getting it today and being quiet and hunkering down in their homes basically for the next 60 to 80 to 100 hours and getting this huge 100 megabyte game done. I think it's one of the biggest games ever, actually. Exciting,
I would say. Out of back in 2000, I think it was 2010 when the first game came out.
2010 was the first game, but this game's got 500,000 lines of dialogue, which is unheard of. They had said the most before this was 30,000.
100 gigs, I think it was.
100 gigs. I don't know what the first Red Dead was, what that rated, but I was playing it and looking at it the other day, and it's a spectacular game to begin with. The level of detail and what they went from there to GTA, the jump that they made from that, you could see the progress that they made, the way the characters interact. And I'm excited to see what the jump from GTA 5 is to Red Dead Redemption.
Impressive. The thing is, jumping from Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead Redemption, the fact that it actually works so well shows the dedication to Rockstars of what they thought. That, you know what, listen, if you can, modern day times, if you are able to do this gangster stuff, why can't you do some rodeo stuff as well? Why can't you be a highway star gangster on a horse, a cowboy, a bandit, or maybe a marshal of law? Anything like that. Great. That is what Red Dead Redemption is. That is the frontal poke of it is amazing. What do you think, James?
Well, you bring me into my first question about what to expect from Red Dead, and you brought up a good point. Being a marshal of the law. Now, in previous Red Deads, you've basically were relegated to kind of being this errand boy.
You were forced to be a marshal.
And you had the choice to you
weren't a marshal, but you were forced to help them.
You were forced to be on the choices of good and evil to a certain way, and maybe to a certain extent you were kind of like a marshal. I wonder what it's going to be like in this game. If this game you're going to be kind of I could be a straight up cowboy and go loot and go go have fun at the houses of ill repute, go play poker and some other nefarious games of chance.
In the original game, you could play
on the inverse, or go be kind of like a policeman and go, take care of the bad guys and go collect the bounties and stuff. I wonder if they're going to offer more situations like that, more choice like that, or it's going to be more linear and you're going to be this person, you just got to be you either kill the person who's bad or good, or you don't.
Well,
so is it going to be a lot more freedom in your play style, or are you going to be kind of reduced to morality choices, more or less, rather than job, maybe kind of job changing style? Because you could apparently support your camp. You don't have to support your camp. You have little jobs. You could collect food, go fishing, go get the meat, go get, I don't know, apparently other little things or little stories and events, things that you have to do to help your camp survive, help the cookout with getting some stuff, help the other guy get some firewood, help the other guy build some shelter or something. So I mean, all these other things are going to go into your playing as your character is going to be really interesting. You could go, and one of the cool fun things was holding up shopkeepers and stuff like that. I mean, all those.
This is a stick up. Put the money in the bag.
Heists.
That's gonna be fun.
I mean, all these things. I'm blabbering, but what are you thinking here?
Well, because in the original Red Dead Redemption, the problem with that game with moral choices, John Marston. Even if you made him do evil bandit things, he's still morally a good guy. He's just doing his job. You can make him commit murder. You can make him commit robbery, but he's I'm still a nice guy. I'm just trying to get by.
Save his family.
Your moral choices as John Marston does nothing to the plot.
You were in the clear.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because you were doing this to save his family.
It doesn't affect the plot whatsoever. It's a very linear game. If this game is going more for morally gray area, you could be a good guy, a marshal of the law, or a good guy, a bandit of the law. When you think about it, both of them are law. When you think about it, then it's going to have could this mean that it could affect the ending of the game this time?
I wonder. Wow, great point. While the ending of Red Dead Redemption, the first one, was linear and basically no matter what, you're going to have the same ending, I wonder if the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2 might have different endings. Sort of like GTA 5, which had 3 different endings. You could go kill Trevor. Spoiler alert: you could go kill Trevor, or you could go kill Franklin, or you could go kill the other guy. What's his face? Yeah, nice. But you had different endings based upon the end of the story. But I wonder if in this video game, it's not going to be just like your final choice. It's going to be an amalgamation of choices you made along the way that makes you have an ending that you had. I wonder if it could be like that. That would be a stupendous game. And that makes me, with 100 megabyte
replayability,
100 gigabyte, I said megabyte, 100 gigabyte game download size, that makes me wonder if they do have that ability. Kind of like the movie Clue, where when they released Clue, get this, that when they originally released the movie Clue in theaters, they had released 3 different endings. And they put different endings in different theaters all around the country.
Wait, they actually did that?
Yeah. So people who went and saw it in New York saw a different ending than the people who saw it in Chicago, basically, for example. And so the people who saw it in New York was like, oh, did you see it? So that guy did it. And the other people in Chicago was like, what are you talking about? No, that other person did that. So I wonder if in Red Dead, rather than making like the final end choice of like, oh, it's going to be a accumulation of your choices that leads you into your ending. That would be very interesting.
I never heard of that Clue thing before in my life.
With Tim Curry, great movie.
That's actually really cool.
Cult classic.
But here's the thing, even if they have that moral choice, how is that going to affect the gameplay? If you're more of a bandit, what kind of, are you going to be able to steal cooler things?
Right.
Or if you're
Assassin's Creed style?
If it's going to affect, here's the thing. I don't want the gameplay to affect my ending. I want to affect the way how I play the game.
Yes.
If I'm more of a bandit, I want some other things. If I'm more of a marshal of the law, I want some other stuff. Like, do I get different kinds of like... Oh, if this is about a camp, right? The more gooder you are, you could get some loyalty. You'll get loyalty. But if you're but if you're more like Joseph Stalin, you're using fear.
Or you're like a psycho or a crazy person.
Using fear to have your camp be loyal to you. You have 2 different loyalties.
And so people don't want to really, they more trust you, they more go with you out of fear, and then like they're ready to turn on you, rather than instilling the loyalty. That'll be an interesting mechanic too, if that's present in the game.
Loyalty meter would be kind of interesting.
Mechanic?
Fear meter.
Well, it brings you to some of the characters. So it starts off with you're in the gang with Dutch Vanderland or something like that, right? And so you're this character, I forget his name, Frank. I forget the exact character's name because it's not the main character, John Marston, who you're used to.
Spoiler alert, he's dead!
No, John Marston is in the game.
Wait, what?
This game takes place before Red Dead Redemption 1.
Wait a minute, but
this game takes place when John's talking about how he got these scars. Apparently, that might be involved in this game. When John's talking about his old life in the gang with Dutch Vanderland and Bill Williamson and all the Javier Escuela and all these guys, that's what this game, Red Dead Redemption 2, is about. It goes into that. So he's in this game with his family, with his wife and his little son Jack, and they're apparently in the gang at this point. And they show them in these scenes.
But that's going to be a problem.
Loyalty is going to be an issue because they highlight it in one of the trailers.
Here's my problem with that, James. If they're going for that, if you are playing, I had no idea that was young. I was like, come on, he's dead. So this place before, but then that changes everything. That means that
it's a prologue.
Then they can't have multiple endings. They can't have multiple endings.
Well,
because it's going to end up with the same thing.
No matter what, Dutch has got to be alive, and John's got to be alive.
Because I know he went after Dutch.
All these other people have various. It could be kind of like Star Wars Rogue One, where you thought most of them were going to die, and they all died. Maybe they all died.
We got to put a lot of spoilers. Warnings in this video, James.
Well, we don't know. How can we have any spoiler warnings? Because we don't know. We haven't played the game yet. That's what we're predicting. These are ideas about what's going to happen in the gang. Right? I like to see Irish make a return.
Irish would be cool.
Fun character.
Irish is El Rato.
El Rato?
El Rato.
What do you say? Spanish for the cat?
No, it was Spanish for like the humble one, I remember.
Something like that, but yeah, of course he's wrong, which is the funny thing. And
I'm pretty sure that means you're a rat.
Bonnie McFarlane. Well, think about this.
Wait, is Bonnie gonna be in this?
I don't know, but think about this. Her dad could play a significant role.
But how come? But
and also the sheriff from previous could also play a different role because remember this game is going to be taking place before Red Dead Redemption 1. I wonder if it's going to be, maybe it starts off that way and continues afterwards, and maybe it starts there and then quick. That's the other question. Does it start literally a couple months before Red Dead Redemption 1, and then we quickly bypass that and we move past John Marston being in the story? Or are we going to start years and years and years in the past before Red Dead Redemption 1, and that's kind of like the end game is to end up where we end up at Redemption 1.
I would like to see it. If it's not going to be non-linear, because like if what you said is true, then I don't think this game's going to be non-linear. It's going to be very linear, but that means that the ending should be
it's a sandbox
the same.
game, and they're supposed to be making a great open-ended sandbox game. You'd think, right?
Well, if it's an open-ended sandbox game, then I would expect multiple endings. But if it's not
Think
going to
about
affect
GTA,
but it's not going
you
to
got
affect
the
the world
precedent
of
of GTA 5 already set, though, which said 3 endings.
But when it comes
So
to
it's possible that there could be multiple endings.
Yeah, but there's the thing with Grand Theft Auto, they all take place in different continuities. Not different continuities. They could be the same universe, but the thing is, their endings don't affect other games. This ending is going to affect Red Dead Redemption 1 when you think about it.
Or it should, at least. You would think, just like in Rogue One, where the ending is the boat. They get the Death Star plans, which affects Star Wars Episode 4. So that's what you're saying it's going to affect. Let's move on past this subject, though, real quick.
What do you want from the game?
I want the cowboy experience. What a great question. What do you want from the game? By the way, viewers, what are you expecting? What are your predictions? What do you want from the game? I want the cowboy experience that I got from Red Dead Redemption 1, and if they already delivered on it, so I know that they could deliver on that, and I'm already going to get that stuff that I want. Ride on horses, go hunting for some wildlife, hold up some robberies, plan some heists, take down a great train robbery would be so freaking awesome.
Train heist. I want to stop a train. If you can't stop a train in Grand Theft Auto 5, I want to stop a train in Red Dead Redemption 2.
You can't stop trains in any other of these games. So I wonder if you are going to be able to stop the train.
Drop a boulder on it.
Other ideas, other things that you would like to see. I mean, duels, cowboy bounties. I want a lot of the stuff from the old game. But what new things could we really see?
What haven't we seen in cowboy continuity?
That's one thing I really don't know.
Cowboys fight aliens?
Think about the cowboy movies.
Maybe
we have a Magnificent Seven style type of run where we have where we have to protect a couple towns or something from some evil bad guys, or we are the bad guys.
Well, it doesn't matter. Who's pointing the gun? That's the question.
Yeah, who's pointing the gun? Who's pointing the gun at who? I have an interesting question for you. What are some new character archetypes that we did not see in the old one that we may see in this new one?
I want a depressed archetype.
A depressed archetype?
I want someone sad who doesn't think that he can change himself.
What about, who was that creepy guy who was always with the dead people?
Who was always with... Oh my god, who was that guy?
He was great.
He was an interesting character.
If you remember his name, you can type it in the comments. Another interesting character was that guy who was running for president of Mexico, and he was just like the womanizer, and like they talk so great about hm, like, oh, this guy's the greatest guy, he's a hero, and then Marston meets him, and he's just like a jerk.
Name? Oh, the con artist. Who was the con artist?
There was a con artist,
in the first game.
Not Shaky.
The con artist in the first game that John had to help out because
there was a scientist guy, right? Too.
He wasn't a scientist.
Oh,
he was
the con artist, the snake oil salesman.
He had to
John
get to drink
Dickens?
stuff.
Wes Dickens.
I think that's what his name was.
Yeah,
Wes Dickens.
Yeah, that guy's funny. But some new character archetypes that you're going to see. I wonder if we're going to see, some things that are like more modern things that weren't there in 2010. I would like, but maybe are going to be happening in 2018.
Okay, the people that hired, they really hired. They kind of forced them. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were from New York, I think.
We're going to see Irish immigrants. Maybe
I would like more New Yorkers to be in the game.
New Yorkers.
I want people from New York to come into the West and become cowboys.
I would like to see some. I would like to see some old historical figures slip in, like maybe a Wyatt Earp.
Like,
or a Doc Holliday or something like that, so you could duel, and maybe you take out one of these awesome ex-duelists or something from the long time ago that are actually historically based. Billy the Kid, that'd be a fun person to encounter. Or like you either got to fight them or be an ally with them at some point and help them in a mission. That'd be really cool.
What about more? Okay, in the original game there were mythical creatures that you could hunt and kill, like the Sasquatch and Jackalope and the 4 horses of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna have more of that. Can we have
that's a great
unicorn?
Point.
I want a unicorn.
A unicorn.
A unicorn would be great.
They put in a unicorn as like a horse that you could ride eventually. So I mean, it's like not out of the ordinary. Because I was watching some video the other day and the guy was riding on a unicorn with rainbows coming out, but I'm like, this is Red Dead? It was. And you're right about the Sasquatch would be so funny as well to actually make an appearance again.
Poor Sasquatch. Right?
I think we should wrap up the video here. I think we're getting...
I think we said enough as we have
I don't know if we have anything else left to say.
Well, your final thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2?
I'm so freaking excited. I can't freaking wait. It's going to be amazing. 60 hours of gameplay and maybe another 40 hours of like just dicking around and having fun with whatever else is there. That's apparently like what we're in for essentially. It sounds like. This sounds like the game to end all games.
Back in 2008 and
But then they have online coming out later. what's online going to be like?
True, but what I'm kind of excited for is back in 2008 and 2010, DLC was cool. I wonder if we're going to have some cool DLC in the future.
Well, that's a great point, because in GTA 5, they said they were going to bring DLC, ended up never happening.
Why didn't it happen?
And what they did do for Red Dead Redemption, the first one, is they had the undead thing.
The undead.
So are they going to bring that back, maybe? Is that a future DLC that we can see?
When's this game coming out?
This game's coming out in a week. October 26th.
So thinking about, because the original Red Dead, it was close to October as well. So meaning that they could also have an Undead Nightmare 2.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
As a DLC or something.
Or a Christmas special would be cool too.
Yeah, possible. And as far as online goes, I don't really ever play the onlines on these modes, because it's like I'd rather play the regular mode. And when it comes down to microtransactions, it's like nothing that you really want to be a part of, right?
No one wants the microtransactions.
Really hope that microtransactions are not going to be a big key part of all this.
Microtransactions will be a whole different video entirely.
One last comment. The Assassin's Creed, the new one that came out, I hear it's a great game, but you apparently have to kind of pay like $10 for this certain microtransaction to kind of like give yourself like the proper levels.
Oh.
So you get like so you get EXP at the proper rate to make the game kind of normal.
To win.
So I really hope that mechanic is not in GTA, because that sounds bullshit. Like you already pay 60, 70 bucks, 80 bucks in some cases, 100 bucks for these games, and they're like, oh, here, pay another 10 bucks so you can level up at the right pace. What? That's another episode, though. We could talk about.
Weak reason.
Let us know what you guys folks think. What are you guys excited to see? What are your predictions? What are some things you that weren't able to be taken care of in 2010's Redemption that you are expecting for 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2, and other ideas?
Here's the thing. I'll say this one more time. What else can you do with cowboys? That hasn't been done yet.
Cowboys and aliens.
Bring aliens.
And GTA could do it.
Bring Daniel Craig on this. Let's do this.
Especially with the Mount Chiliad hunt that was going on forever with GTA that eventually fizzled out and turned into nothing. Maybe Mount Chiliad's origins are in Red Dead Redemption 2, and like there's a secret mountain there.
More mountain X. All right, okay. If there's one more thing I want at the end of Red Dead Redemption 1, I want more mountains.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be huge mountains.
I want another mountain.
Huge, beautiful landscapes. It looks like it's going to be one of the most prettiest games to ever play.
All right, then. High hopes for this game.
High hopes.
If this is going to be this grand, I hope it lives up to its expectations.
I really do too. It sounds like we're in store for a treat. So it sounds fantastic. Let us know what you guys are expecting and what you're excited for in the comments below. We'll see you guys later for another episode of Splitting Wires.
This is us signing off. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be seeing you next video.
Toss us
everyone.
a like and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.